adds the most vital color to real character. It's the tonic to anyone with a slightly self-aggrandizing nature, like yours truly. Remember that anytime you think that any time in your life you think, I've got this wired, you're just about to get smacked with a huge failure. That at least is my experience. You're often being too under-ambitious at that point, or you're just about to lose it. Usually the last one. Always keep in mind that you can fail. Things can go horribly, horribly wrong, both for reasons that you could see and reasons that you can't. People who have never encountered real failure, either because they avoid it or they escape blame for it, won't know it when they see it coming until it's too late. They might even suffer the delusion that they're beyond it. If you pretend it's not there, as sure as I'm standing here, it will sneak up behind you, tap you on the shoulder. If you admit that it can happen, you might be able to see it coming. The trick is to realize that we are remembered. This is not my quote, somebody else said this. We are remembered for our successes, but we are defined ourselves by our failures. It is standard fare in a common keynote address like this to include several classic nuggets about good old American ingenuity, and I'm only going to bore you with one. When Thomas Edison was asked if he found a dejecting amount of failure to have tried thousands of filaments for his light bulb, none of which worked, he replied that, to the contrary, he was actually elated that he now had several thousands of things crossed off his list that don't work as filaments. Don't hold anybody, least of all me, as a paragon of these virtues. I think of these things as an operating manual, one of which I'm constantly consulting, finding new chapters of, altering all the time. I make mistakes every single day. We are humans, and it is a messy business being a human, and nobody escapes. I love that phrase. I remind myself this all the time. Nobody escapes. So, to the gathered innovators in this room, I give you a task. You have a gift in that you've chosen to try and parse the world a little bit more than others around you. You also have the tools in your brain to make the world work a little bit better, to run a little bit smoother, and that's a responsibility. The skills you have, the skills you'll get, they're nothing unless you use them. An arrow is simply a decorated piece of wood with a sharp end and a feathered end until someone uses it to get dinner. Think about the arrow. It's coming into being. Think about the shaft, wood, metal, plastic, carbon fiber. Think about the manufacturer, by lathe, by hand, by machine. Its point, metal or stone or glass, the feathers, the nock. Picture this arrow in an archer's hand, in his bow, the string, gut or synthetic, being drawn, pounds of force being applied. Hear the creak, muscles tense, skin sensing the breeze and adjusting the aim accordingly, the release of fingers, the eye, the muscle. In your mind's eye, picture this arrow flying through the air, cutting through it. Forces keeping it aloft, keeping its flight straight, even through its bending. It hits a target of straw. Its points, sharp edges pushing through the fiber, cutting what's in its path, the cutting spreading the force of its impact, the arrow stopping, also absorbing the force of its own impact, now nearly still, bouncing back and forth. This is your skill, that you can picture this, that you can think through this, that you understand what's involved in every step that I described. This is not a small thing to possess this. In my opinion, there's too many people walking around without any skills, people who proudly proclaim that they're not good at math, that they can't program their watch, that they don't know anything about politics, not least their own mind. The real pursuit of clarity, understanding, and excellence is in short supply. Keep your mind well-oiled and well-exercised. The flame, the wheel, the sling, the aqueduct, the telescope, the computer, these all operate according to a set of rules that you've taken as your mission to understand and to use. And not just the theoretical side, the practical side as well. You are innovators, and that is a real thing. The whole advent of human understanding across the globe, from its gentle to its most hostile places, from a heliocentric universe to encompassing thousands and countless galaxies, from groups of dozens to groups of millions. All of this is made possible by people seeking to understand and manipulate their surroundings for survival. Remember, to proceed along a path laid by others is a very reasonable course of action. Therefore, all human progress is made by unreasonable people. I salute you all. You are literally where the rubber meets the road. Thank you.